Alrighty, so contribution activity report, Bree is going to do a demo for how to download and access your contribution activity report during the giving season. But this is how you can review the donations your organization receives during the giving season. And again, the primary contacts will receive login information later this week. And the reason this is so important is because there's kind of a two-step verification that your primary contact will need to do to actually be able to log in. That's new this year. So I'll let you take it away.
Great, thanks, Maeve. Just a quick reminder about this active contribution activity report is the time lag. Since it does take us a while to actually process and review all of the donations for accuracy, it certainly leads to a little bit of a longer processing time, which I am sure you're familiar with. But just a reminder that like if you have a donation that you know is coming in through old bills and you don't see it on your contribution activity report, just wait a week or two and it will likely pop up there. And if not, then we'll problem solve from there. All right. And just before I share my screen, I'm just gonna let you know that we're not doing a completely live demo of pulling the actual contribution activity report because they contain like sensitive donor and donation information. So we're just going to do a demo of the MFA login, multi-factor authentication login, and just basic portal navigation. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
And as Bree is pulling up her screen, you'll see that Connor linked to the Old Bills contribution activity guide in the chat. And this has a step-by-step kind of screenshots and is a step-by-step guide for how to go through and do this exact contribution activity report pull that Bree is demoing for us right now.
Perfect. Can you see my screen?
Yes, thanks, Bree.
Great, great. Okay, so first step is navigating to the Community Foundation website. As you can see, I'm on here. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's this login button. So you click that and go to Old Bills Contribution Activity. That's where you want to go. Your user ID will be an acronym associated with your organization. And then we can reset your password if you need, but hopefully you remember it. All right. And once you hit login, it'll take you to the two-factor authentication screen. So this is what it's going to look like. You can opt to do a text message, a phone call, or an email. And the options that are going to pop up are the phone numbers or emails that are associated with your account in our software system. And as Maeve mentioned, those numbers and emails will be associated with the primary contact or the financial contact that was listed on your old bills application for 2026. Just want to mention, feel free to share this login details with whatever appropriate staff members you want accessing this report. But we are hoping to keep the information under those primary and financial contacts whenever possible, just so we can keep it consistent and secure and clean in our database system as well. All right, so I'm going to opt for a text message and get my verification code.
And that code comes fairly quickly. We've tested it via email and cell phone. It all comes within pretty much 30 seconds, as you see here with Bree typing in her verification code.
Yeah, and then you can opt to remember the device that you're logging in on. If you do select remember this device, then you won't have to go through the multi-factor authentication again on that same device. All right, and then it brings you to this beautiful contribution activity dashboard. And on here, when you're reviewing donations during the Old Bills giving season, we recommend that you change the date range right here to the last 90 days. And then information will display here with donor information. And you can pull this contribution activity Excel report, and that's going to be the report that y'all will want to be focusing on to review donations. As I mentioned, I'm not going to actually pull it, but that's like the basic navigations. And then I do just want to note that this Excel export, once you pull it, any credit card donations will include that 2.4% credit card fee that I spoke about on the donor's total contribution amount. So in order to determine like your actual designated donations amount less the fee, we'll have to subtract that 2.4% fee from the report. And I'll just show you really quickly how you can find that information. If you go up here and you click on this highlighted section called Fund Holders, you'll click that button, it'll take you to the basic dashboard. And down here on the bottom right, we'll see this one called Fund Activity. That's where you're going to want to go. All right, and same suggestion here, change this date range to match the last 90 days. You'll have to hit submit for that date range to be effective. And then if you scroll down here under Fund Activity Summary, under Admin and Investment Fees, there will be a number and amount of the credit card fees. So if you just take that amount and subtract it from your contribution activity report, that will give you your total designated contributions less the fees. So that will probably be one of the most important steps. Great. Well, that's all I had to show in this little demo, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
And just a reminder from Bree on that, if you can also view donations from previous years via that same contribution activity report. You just need to toggle the dates differently. So you can look back, I believe it's like 1 year, 2 years. I'm not sure how off the top of my head how far back it goes. Bree, do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I can do a quick.
Okay, well, just
It,
so you know, there are ways to track look at donations from previous years, especially if you're new at your organization and want to look up some of that more historical information.
Yeah, you can actually, sorry, just gonna jump in again. You can do an advanced search, which is right underneath that date range setting, and you can set specific date parameters. And so that will allow you to look back as far as you like.